colleagues and members from the media. Again, I want to apologize for the late start of the press briefing. I hope still with my mask you can hear me loud and clear. Okay, thank you very much. Commissioners of GRA, top management of GRA, deputy commissioners, management and staff, distinguished members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here with us this afternoon, and I warmly welcome you to this briefing. The purpose of this briefing is to clarify a few things and also to share with you what has happened so far from the 1st of June when ICUMS went live in Tema. And then also use the opportunity to listen to you and also have some questions that you have answered. So what I'll be doing is just to give you a highlight, and then after the highlight, we'll open the floor for questions. And since you have my colleagues with me, some of the questions can go to them and they will answer. The introduction of ICUMS in the customs clearance system of both for the ports, in terms of the entry ports as well as the main port, was aimed to make sure that we digitalize the clearance process. Also for introduction of an end-to-end system in line with international best practice, and to provide superior customer service to all our stakeholders. Coming after the successful introduction of the paperless port clearance system, ICUMS seeks to move the clearing of goods in Ghana to a higher level of excellence and as well as in revenue mobilization at the various entry points. With our objective to bring about improvements with the deployment of ICUMS in Tema Port, a lot of concerns have been raised by stakeholders, by importers, by exporters, by clearing agents, civil society organizations, members of the media, etc. These concerns have been closely examined. We do admit that as we start any new system, you will have challenges, and as you usually refer to it as teething challenges, ICUMS has not been spared of its portion of teething challenges. But we have not rested on our oars, neither have we also closed our ears to the concerns. And we have done all that we think is possible and all that, and we continue to do to ensure that this system stabilizes and that our ports continue to be efficient and that goods that are being exported or imported are also sufficiently cleared within time. I want to let you know, my members of the media, that on the average, since we started, since January 2020, revenue for customs averages around 940 million per month. Our lowest collection this year has been around 800, and our highest collection has been around 1.2 billion. I want to emphasize that since we started in Tema, and we started going completely on ICUMS, from the 1st to the 17th of June, a total of 190 million Ghana cedis revenue has been collected. And this compared favorably to what I mentioned earlier on, that our average collection per month is around 900 million. So if you look at the 490 million collected as at the 17th of June, and you do an extrapolation to the end of the month, and then you expect that come the end of the month, we will not collect anything below 900 million, which is in line with what has been collected on the average from January 2020 to May. And therefore, it also settles the issue as to whether people were wondering whether with the implementation of the ICUMS we were losing revenue as an organization or not. And therefore, we know that we are not losing revenue. We did have challenges And I want to just mention some of the challenges and where we are with them. When we started, we had an issue with the task identification number. One of the unique features of this system is that it allows you to enter as with your task identification number and identifies you as such, and is able to pull your data once you put in your task identification number or your TIN, for that matter. Initially, when we started, we had challenges with it, but we want to assure that this has been resolved, and currently we don't have problems with TIN as a source of retrieval of information from ICUMS. Number two, we had an issue with co-loading and manifest matching. And as you know, in Ghana, we have a situation where many people put the same things into one container or shipping line and it comes over. This is not generally the international practice, and we therefore have to adopt the system to the Ghana situation. And I wish also to assure all that these challenges have also been resolved, and today co-loading and manifest matching is also working successfully. And you know, when we started this and we're doing training, sometimes people don't take the training as seriously as required. And therefore, as we continue with the process, we continue to do further training for those who did not grasp it very well, and to ensure that all stakeholders, including freight forwarders, including shipping agents, including terminal operators, are adequately trained. And as we are even including our own staff. And as we continue with this training, people got more conversant with the system, and some of the issues they had previously have now become used to it. We all know that even when you are used to iOS and you move from that to Android, you still have to do a bit of struggle to get yourself acquainted with it. Or when you are an Apple user, and you move on to Microsoft, sometimes you have to get yourself abreast with some of the things before you get comfortable. And therefore, we are constantly providing the training to ensure that people get very conversant with the system and be able to use it. But even with the little that we have done, we have had very good testimonies as far as the friendliness of the system is concerned. I wish to state that overall, since we started all over the country, about 53,000 bill of entries, or BOEs, have been processed in ICUMS nationwide. Of these, 16,000 have been submitted in Tema alone. Out of this, about 12,000 relates to pre-manifest process. And when I say pre-manifest, I mean that in cases where the ship has not even arrived, this system allows you to start uploading your manifest and start processing, so that by the time your ship arrives, you will have gone very far to be able to finish your process very quickly. And therefore, if all things stabilize, we are aiming that within 48 hours, you should be able to clear your things from loading your manifest to ending, unless at the time you do the pre-manifest, the ship has not arrived. As for that one, as long as the ship has not arrived, we cannot move, but at least it gives you the chance to load and prepare yourself. Currently, even before we moved from the old system, we were doing about 1,500 bill of entries per day. And I wish to announce to the press also that as of today, in ICUMS, we are also doing 1,500 bill of loading entries per day in ICUMS. And therefore, we are actually already comparing favorably to what was happening in the previous system. I mentioned that there are about 16,000 of the BOEs in Tema alone. And I wish to say that out of these 16,000, 11,000 of it have been successfully processed in ICUMS. About 5,000 of the BOEs are at various stages of processing at the Customs Technical Services Bureau. One of the things that we have had as a challenges is the issue about queries that are raised. And I want to say that as at now, about 4,000, that is about 25% of the BOEs have had queries raised but not answered by the stakeholders in terms of freight forwarders. Now, this system as soon as you raise a query, it sends an alert to the phone and also raises the alert on the system when you log in. But the response from the public for this has been quite slow. As at last week, week today, we had about 40% queries not answered. And as at today, we can say that it has reduced to 25%. You may ask, what has accounted for the reduction in the volume of responses as far as the queries are concerned? It's part of our strategies to ensure that we become as responsive as possible. From last week, when we noticed that the response rate was low, we quickly ensured that the available platforms, in terms of the WhatsApp platforms that we know a number of these freight forwarders were operating, we were on daily basis raising these queries and putting them on the platform. In fact, I have in my hands here what was put on the platform on the 14th of June for people to know the queries that have been raised. We use the declaration numbers so that a person will not see the name of the company, but if you know your declaration number, you will know the kind of query that has been raised. These queries relate to a number of things, including maybe the fact that the freight forwarder did not do the thing the right way, but also a number of MDA's issues. For example, if I take this particular query, you have things like GSA permit not provided, Game and Wildlife certificate not provided, electronic waste certificate not provided, Energy Commission permit not provided, EPA permit not provided, electronic waste certificate, and things like that. Now, in the new system that we are operating, as long as these things are pending, the Customs Technical Service Bureau cannot progress with the processing of your transaction. And so it's an enforcement tool to ensure that any importer, or for that matter, a declarant, will satisfy all these conditions so that if you are bringing in an item that requires an Energy Commission permit, if you don't have it, the system will not allow you to progress. And so as we started posting these on the various platforms and sharing with the various services, and we also set up a call center that also picks, apart from sending the test, also calls them and then inform them about the pending queries. And through these initiatives, the number of outstanding queries raised without responses had declined in 1 week from 40% to 25%. As I mentioned, so this call center, we established a call center and support service desk. One is at the Temalong room. One is also at the Customs Technical Service Bureau over here. And then we also have another one also together with Ghana Link. Additionally, a toll-free number, 0800 900 113, has been established so that the trading public can have their concerns addressed. I said this 0800 900 113. There have been concerns about demurrage as a result of these delays because of the teething problems we had initially. Together with the Ministry of Trade and Industry, we are engaging with the various stakeholders and we have discussions as to how best to resolve these demurrage issues, especially where we find genuine reasons when the demurrage has occurred. And as soon as we are able to conclude the action points, we'll make it public to know what we are doing about the demurrage. It is important to emphasize that ICUMS is a fully integrated port, community, single window, and e-clearance system. All shipping lines and agents, terminal operators, container freight forwarders, licensed customs house agents, bonded warehouse free zones operators, and other port community players have been registered on the system. We have enrolled in excess of 6,000 port community users, and they are all able to process their transactions fully. These numbers paint a very optimistic picture for the future as far as the ICUMS is concerned. I want to use this opportunity to assure the trading public and for the public in general that there are teething problems and challenges as I have mentioned, but wherever we have found such challenges, we have quickly tried to look for alternate processes to ensure that people do not get stuck in their processing, that they are able to move ahead, even where it entails some manual interventions, but at the same time ensuring that the original electronic processing also comes into being and work. And so that has been the way we have done, and we are sure that as we continue to fix these initial challenges, we will be able to work seamlessly as envisaged. We would like to assure all that I have full confidence in the staff of the Customs Division who are also taking on these challenges and working hard to make sure that ICUMS is a success, as well as our other partners in working this out. Members of the media, I want to rest my presentation here, and thank you all very much for coming, and we will be able to take questions so that where there are any further clarifications, myself and my colleagues can address them.